Namaste and welcome back to Waking Up with Mindful Serenity. And I'm going to reach into the jar so we can answer another question in a 10-minute time frame, or at least attempt to answer it. I'm going to start my timer now and take a deep breath as I do so, just to get ego out of the way so it's not personal mind answering these questions with its need to impress or be right and be know-it-all, etc. Because I know very, very little. And the more I think, the more I question, the more I realize how little I actually know. So that being said, I'm going to try to answer this soul-provoking question. And it's not a hard one at all. Why do humans exist? Why do humans exist? And that is a really good question, and I don't really know how to answer that one. I believe whatever I say, of course, is just my opinion and things I've thought about or reflected on, not necessarily the truth for you. So you need to really ask yourself that question: why do humans exist? And do your own research and soul searching and to discover why. But I think humans exist to allow consciousness to experience itself in a myriad of ways, right? Consciousness is being breathed through us. We are not doing the breathing. Consciousness is being breathed through us. And consciousness wants to experience life in this earthly playground. So consciousness, of course, can be divided in our mindsets only into souls, individual souls that come down, incarnated into a body to experience this life and to learn and grow. So the soul learns and grows through the experience it has here on earth. I think probably, and I'm imagining, and I don't know, but something tells me so. And that the soul wants this experience. The soul wants this experience before it comes down here. So no matter how hard your life experience may seem to be, the soul is embracing it. The soul is enjoying it. The soul is thriving through it. The human being might not seem to be thriving too well mentally, emotionally, physically, but the soul is. This is the experience that the soul wanted to grow. Earth is a place where souls come to evolve, many people say. And again, it seems a little woo-woo, but I think it's woo-woo because we don't understand it with our human minds. There's so much we cannot see and perceive with our five senses that is real, and we limit our reality to our five senses, to our materialistic paradigm that most of us live under. So we can't even imagine that the soul, that what consciousness is or what the soul is. We have these ideations of it and these ways of trying to perceive it with our limited minds, but we can't really understand the magnitude of consciousness or the magnitude of the soul and what the soul is here to do. So most of the things we do is assume and guess, and that's what I'm doing right now, I guess, is assuming and guessing that the soul came here to evolve. The soul came here to learn. The soul came here to grow. The soul came to experience it. And the soul, I don't believe, takes anything as seriously as a human being does, right? In these incarnated forms. The soul is still free, but the incarnated form where we focus our attention on is not so free. It feels caught or trapped by the personal mind, whereas the soul, which is the impersonal mind, is not trapped and does not take his life as seriously as we, as a little me, do. So for the soul, this experience of living is why humans exist, right? Humans exist so that the soul can, or consciousness, can experience life through the human being. But maybe it's through all beings, every being, the soul. We don't know, right? We say animals don't have souls, but how do we know? Maybe they have their own consciousnesses being breathed through them as well, and experiencing life as an ant, experiencing life as a wasp, experiencing life as a tree or a plant or some lichen. Who knows? We don't, right? But I believe consciousness is definitely breathed through the human experience, and it's definitely expanding and growing and learning through this little one of 8.3 or 8.5, I don't know how many billion human beings we have on the planet, but say 8.3 billion human beings. This is just one, and one little light coming through me, and that's one tiny facet of this infinite, omnipresent, omniscient an omnipotent consciousness shining through this little human being. And why this human exists is so that consciousness can experience life through me. It's not all about this little me, this little human form, this little human personality, this little human personal mind that I identify with. And so often we take that infinite consciousness that is massive and narrow it down on this little being that I call me, and it gets lost in it. It gets addicted by the drama, and we forget why we're here. We forget that we are just one of 8.3 billion human beings here to allow consciousness to shine through us, to experience itself. We take life way, way, way too seriously. You know, we get too addicted to our little problems and our little dramas and too identified with them that we forget to see why humans exist. What is in me that is not the personal mind or beyond the personal mind? What is in this experience that is beyond the personality and beyond the physicality of this matter? What is it that is existing, that is here to exist through this human form? And when we take that deep dive into the questioning of that, we come to see that, wow, there is a deeper reason why humans exist, not just so that I could plant a few seeds in the garden or find the cure for cancer or, whatever, solve the world's problems. Humans exist simply so that consciousness can experience itself through us. And that's it. So our existence seems trivial, at the same time it seems so grand, right? Sure, we're just one little being of 8.3 billions of just this species alone that consciousness can shine through and experience itself through. So that makes it seem so small. But at the same time, we have this consciousness shining through us. So wow, that is amazing. And when we can get beyond personal mind to impersonal mind to that consciousness, when we can start to step back and fall back into that consciousness and experience life as consciousness shining through this human form, we detach from our identity with the body, detach from our identity with the mind, attach with our identity from the personality, and we start to feel that consciousness observing this human being I call me trod their way through life, making mistakes here and having this problem and this blessing and this lack and this abundance here and there, as life constantly changes around it, this impermanent nature of reality that we are planted down in here, that consciousness wants to experience the impermanence of, the temporary nature of. Then when we can do that, step back and see ourselves as not the human suffering, but the observer or the consciousness growing and learning through that suffering, then suffering takes on new meaning, doesn't it? Life takes on new meaning, and we don't take it so darn serious. I think that this experience of a lifespan, the dash between the moment we were born and the moment we die, that we see on our epitaphs, is so, so, so tiny. It's a blink of an eye in eternity. And to the soul, it's nothing. It's just like a quick glimpse. And then when the body dies, the impermanent nature of matter again makes itself known, and the body dies. This light that was consciousness, that was experiencing life through this human, goes on, it goes on. And we are not the human body and the human mind or the human personality. We are that consciousness that is shining through that humanity. So humans exist then for a far greater reason than what we deem as human important. So it's good to be a little humble and to see that it's not all about me, not all about me at all. It's about consciousness. It's about the universality of everything. Yeah, humans exist for one grand reason. Anyway, that's what I would have to say to that question. I hope it serves you. Thank you so much for asking it. And thank you so much for joining me today. May you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Namaste.